Hey there, I'm Jer. I'm going to be doing a draft analysis for the NEBA mono draft. Um, I believe this is season 2. This is my first season in the draft the draft though. Um, and I was a mid-draft replacement, so seven seven types were picked before I got to pick. So I went with what I thought was the best available, which was ground. The other types in the league are grass, water, steel, psychic, electric, flying, water, and rock. Um, so I went with mono ground mostly because, as you'll see, my first pick was Landorus Incarnate. Um, so when I saw that Landorus with Sheer Force was available, I said, okay, I'm getting ground because flying was already taken. Just because Landorus is an Uber, obviously, for obvious reasons. It's very good. Hits like a truck. But yeah, this will just be me going over the draft that I drafted. So, of course, um, I drafted Lando I first, but my first pick after that um, was Excadrill. Because there was a mono steel team in the league already, I wanted to make sure that Excadrill was on my team. Of course, with ground, I had free access to Hippowdon, which I did end up picking, so that gave me access to sand, reliable sand, which smooth rock is banned, but 5 turns of sand is plenty to get in Excadrill and either sweep with Sand Force Scarf or Sand Rush, Life Orb, Band, even Mold Breaker. If Sand's not up, it's good for those levitators. But yeah, either way, Excadrill was my first pick. Um, Second pick after that, of course, there was water. Um, there's a water draft as well. So I wanted to make sure that I got a counter to water types, which kind of beat ground types normally. And my counter to that is Gastrodon. Of course, Storm Drain ability has reliable recovery, obviously, in recover, and Storm Drain basically stops water type moves. So it'll be key. It's a ground type not weak to ice, which there's no ice draft, which is good, but I have a couple 4 times weaknesses to ice, and Gastrodon helps with that. So next after that, because there was a flying type draft as well, I wanted to get my picks that could be sniped out of the way, and the next one was Gliscor. Gliscor, of course, reliable recovery in Roost, great ability in Toxic Heal or Poison Heal. Just great, great ability, great defense, reliable recovery, good speed tiered for a defensive Pokemon, and of course can be used in setup role, um, but usually is a wall with Roost and Earthquake, knockoff, U-turn, toxic, rocks, defog. So anything like that. So next up is Hippowdon. I grabbed Hippowdon to get the sand. It's a great defensive wall for physical attackers who are neutral and not very effective against. They barely do anything. You slap a Rocky Helmet on with Slack Off, and you can just wear down um, those big steel types, those big, even physical water types have a hard time with it. So, sand, bulk, more reliable recovery, um, and I got lots of rocks, so don't need to worry about that. Of course, this is Lando I. And then Mamoswine was my next pick. There was no ice type draft in the draft, but Mamoswine is so good. Ice ground as stab coverage is just so hard to switch into. So um, having Mamoswine is great. It's a little slow, but it's got thick fat, which is makes it resist ice, um, and that's great because that's another um, ice stopper. Um, and it's a great pick. Defense is not great, but hits like a truck. And then of course Mega. Um, there was two Megas I could have gone with. Mega Steelix was the other option, but I chose Mega Garchomp just because of the speed. I was already pretty slow of a draft because ground types are pretty slow in general. So 92 is not great, but it's a lot more than 30, which Mega Steelix is. So 170 base attack is crazy, and with Sand Force, it's even crazier. Nothing switches in. Zero things switches into an earthquake in the sand, except things that are off the ground. Um, yeah, and so with that attack, I think it's 365 with no investment at level 100, so you can run max HP, max speed, zero attack investment, and still do more damage than a lot of things. So the bulk is there. Um, it will never die, usually to a non-specs HP ice. It's really bulky. 108 HP, 115 defense is great, and I can run special with 120 special attack if I wanted to. Um, Next up, I went with Nidoqueen. It's more of a support mon. Access to Toxic Spikes, a Toxic Spike absorber. There's no poison type draft in this league, so the only drafts that I couldn't viably bring Toxic Spikes to is Flying and Steel, but every other typing has the option for me to run Toxic Spikes. It's a great Scarfer with Sheer Force, of course, physical or special. Gets Bolt Beam, which with a ground type draft you don't get a lot of access to Bolt Beam, and Bolt Beam is so easy to spam, so it's great. Then this was the one of the last picks, second last I believe. I went with Silvally Ground. In this draft, if you were not a normal type draft, you can. There's only one Silvally in the draft, so obviously I have to run ground type Silvally with the ground memory. But it gets Defog, it gets Parting Shot, which is great. Allows things to set up like Mega Garchomp or Excadrill. Of course, base 95 across the board. It can be bulky, it can be offensive, it can be support, it can do a lot of things. Obviously, again, Defog is very important. And I just thought it was solid, and I didn't want anybody else to get Silvally because I knew rocks are a pretty big part of this draft, so having less defoggers out there is always nice. Now this was my last pick, 10 Mons in this draft, and this is Stunfisk. So Stunfisk is my interesting pick. I liked the 109 HP. It gets static as an ability, which is amazing, forcing people to be more conscientious with their U-turns is awesome. And just a great Pokemon overall. Ground Electric is a rare typing. Of course, it's also weak to ground, but I don't think many people will be running ground stab against a ground type draft, or not stab, coverage against a ground type draft. You won't see a lot of Earthquake against me, I would be sure, because nothing. Nidoqueen is the only Pokemon that would hit super effectively, plus Stunfisk. Base 99 special defense and 84 defense. You can run it mixed defensively or either one. It's slow, of course, but 81 special attack is not bad for a wall. So yeah, that's the draft. I'm really happy with it. I I like the diversity in the typings. I think the only the only problem I think that this draft might have is with speed tiers. The fastest thing I have being Lando, which clocks out at a whopping 101 base speed. Um, but Excadrill under Sandrush is very fast. Scarf Mammo, Scarf Nidoqueen, also very fast. I can run speed boosting sets on Lando, on Gliscor, on Excadrill. Um, so speed is an issue, um, especially because first week we're playing against Mono Electric, which is harder to build for than you might think. I'll just show you my team here real quickly, as I've already built um, for this team. Um, and we should be playing on Saturday, but yeah. So, yeah, so my team, or his draft, is Coco, Zapdos, Rotom Heat and Rotom Wash, Magnezone, Zeraora, Electros, Alolan Raichu, Galvantula, and Mega Manectric. Um, so what I'm bringing is a specially defensive Gastrodon, um, hoping that he's forced to run Hidden Power Ice over Hidden Power Grass and Grass coverage because of Lando, because of Garchomp. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm running Choice Scarf Excadrill with Mold Breaker because he has Rotoms and Electros who levitate. So Earthquaking those will be awesome. I'm running Gracium Z, Grass Knot, Rock Polish Landorus, a Grass Knot, Gracium Z, Grass Knot, uh, Oko's Rotom Wash if he is physically defensive, which he probably will be to counter Garchomp and Excadrill, which that's his main check, I'd say, to Garchomp, is Rotom Wash. I'm running physically or mixed defense Hippowdon. Um, it's just got so much HP. I thought I should run some special defense as well because electric is mostly special defense, and I want to be able to take those HP ices if they come. I'm running max defense, max HP, little bit of speed, Mega Garchomp with substitute, hoping that I can sub on a Will-O-Wisp or Toxic from either the Rotoms or anything that wants to carry it. And max defense because look at this attack. 376 with no investment. It's craziness. And then finally, I'm running specially defensive Silvally Ground mixed with Ice Beam, multi-attack, Parting Shot, and Defog. So that he's my defogger. I can Parting Shot on things like Coco into the Garchomp or the Landorus and set up that way, hoping basically Parting Shot on something like the Manectric or the Coco with the Silvally into the Landorus, then forcing the swap, hopefully, into a Rotom or an Electros. Hopefully Rotom Wash for Lando or Garchomp, and then being able to set up a Rock Polish and Gracium Z it to death. But yeah, that's the team. There it is right there. I hope you'll stick around. I'll be uploading week 1 when it happens. Might not have commentary, but we'll see what happens. So thanks for watching.